part 2 of my testimony. So 2020 came. We all know how 2020 was. Rona came in, coronavirus, the lockdown, the pandemic, right? Okay, so I was considered an essential worker, but I couldn't work because my daughter's daycare was closed. So I ended up taking vacation time, taking PTO, and just being at home with my daughter. And honestly, I enjoyed every minute of it. Every minute of it. Like I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom even before she was born, or I wanted somebody within my family to take care of her. Like I didn't want her to go to daycare, but it happened the way it happened. So being at home with her was like me experiencing what I always wanted anyway. Like I wanted to be at home with my daughter, and man, I love it. So I'm naturally kind of reserved. I'm a quote unquote what they call introvert. Like I like being to myself and my family. I'm with I'm with that. So isolation to me felt like a vacation. I mean, I was watching TV with my daughter, cleaning up, cooking for her. Like it was just a life for me. But while in isolation, I felt the Lord just calling me to do, like just to give him 40 days. Like I just continuously felt that call. And when I say I felt it, social media was one avenue, right? So every time I got on social media, every time, there would be somebody saying, hey, give God 40 days. Jesus fasted for 40 days. Jonah had to go preach to the people for 40 days. Elijah, he was over here. Like, I just kept seeing 40 days, 40, 40, 40, 40, every time I got on social media. Even we couldn't drive a lot, obviously, during the pandemic because a lot of places were closed. But I remember even if I was driving somewhere, I would see 40. Now, I ain't into numerology or nothing like that. Let me make that clear. But I knew the Lord was asking me to give him 40 days. And I didn't want to do it because I knew I had done a 40-day surrender fast. And when I say fast, y'all, I don't mean going completely without food. There are people who have done it out there, 40 days without food. Only do that if the Lord has called you to do that, because you're going to have to be graced to do a fast that hard. But I knew the Lord was asking me to just surrender, give him 40 days. But when you surrender, when you do a surrender fast, that means you're giving up something that you like. So I had done it before. I did a little corporate fast at my church that I wasn't really committed to. So, I didn't get a whole lot out of that fast. I felt like the Lord did bless me in that fast, but I wasn't completely committed. I really only did it because the ladies at the church did. All right, but because I had already did a surrender fast for 40 days, I knew the Lord was going to ask me to give up some that I didn't want to give up. And like I just said, I felt like isolation was like a vacation to me. So imagine somebody telling you to surrender or sacrifice something while you're on vacation. You telling me I can't eat something? You telling me I can't watch something I can't do? I want to do what I want to do. And because of that, I kept ignoring God. I kept ignoring it. When I first did that first fast with the church, I gave up sweets for 40 days. I didn't want to give up no sweets. I didn't want to give up nothing. So I kept ignoring it. Now, what ended up happening was, now I know the Lord, when he wants me to fast, that's also fasting from a particular type of food, but also fasting from social media, fasting from secular music, entertainment, TV shows, all of that. And so the fact that I kept getting on social media was like an act of defiance too. It's funny when I go back and think how many times I kept pressing it back against the Lord. Like we think sometimes that, oh no, I'm holy, I'm righteous. Girl, I was wrestling. I was wrestling back with the Lord. And so what happened was eventually I was getting on social media, and I shouldn't have. I should have been on a fast, right? But I got on social media one day, and I saw something very disturbing on social media. Somebody shared a video that It really disturbed me. I mean, to this day, it disturbs me. I couldn't believe that that was on social media, and I couldn't believe that the person who shared it on social media. And so seeing that, I got off. I got off social media. I was like, I don't want to deal with this for a while. But I got off social media, but I still didn't give God that 40 days because I didn't want to. Now, when I gave up social media, I'm talking about my time was freed up. I had a whole bunch of free time. So listen, that's a word for somebody. Believe it or not, social media is killing a lot of your time. If you spend a lot of time on it, like your responsibilities, the things that you have to do, things that the Lord may be calling you to do, you may think to yourself, oh, I ain't got time to do it. I bet you lying. I bet you lying. If you get off social media long enough, I bet you'll see that you have a lot of time to do a lot of things. So I had a lot of time on my hands. I was like, what can I do? What can I do? So I remember one day I got up, I was like, oh, I need to clean up under my bed. So I went in my room, and the way my bed is like positioned, I can't see up under unless I lay on my belly. And I didn't want to do that. So I just ended up just dragging things out from up under my bed. All right, so about the second, third, maybe even the fourth thing I pulled out from up under that bed. Y'all guess what I pulled out from up under that bed? I pulled out my 40-day surrender fast book. Now, mind you, I ain't know where that book was in this house. No clue where it was. The Lord had just got through asking me repeatedly, like almost every day, to give him 40 days. And I ain't want to give it to him. And then I go in my room after I get off social media and pull out a book that says 40 days surrender fast. I laughed out loud because I could not believe God. I couldn't believe that he was that persistent. I was like, bro, you really want these 40 days about me? Like, why? Why do you? Okay. So at that point, I knew I had a choice. I could act like God ain't calling me to do these 40 days and disobey him, or I could submit and surrender and give him these 40 days. Now me, as you can see, I was being hard-headed for a minute, but when it comes to outright just disobedience, I'm afraid. I'm afraid to disobey the Lord like that. I ain't finna be like Jonah in the well crying out because I got seaweed on my head and all that. Like, no. I was like, all right, I don't know what could happen to me if I say no. So I was like, all right, God, you got it. I'm gonna give you these 40 days. Ooh, this is running long too. I'm gonna do another one, come back, part 3. And I'll tell y'all what happened to me in those 20 days and in those 40 days, I'm sorry. And how I got here. All right.